Trying to get my microphone to work. Alright, just a sec, guys. I'm gonna put on my sweater. It's a little bit chilly in my room. How you guys doing? How you guys doing this evening? What's up? What's up? Take your time to jump in, boys and girls. Hola. What's up? Quite a way to do a live stream, eh? Man. Man. The only thing I had today was an extra large double coffee and sugar and bacon. Half a pack of bacon. You guys hear that? Did you guys hear the words that is coming out of my mouth? Yeah. No, I was just saying, I guess that's the justification for me being so tired. It's just the way of it. Let's see, now guys, we gotta change the orientation here. Guys, what is up? I don't think I can change the orientation from here. What the frig? It says flip, it says mute, it says hide live. It says retouch, it says create highlight and lighting. Guys, I'm so fed up with this live stream crap. Half the time it doesn't even do what it says it's gonna do. Can you guys see me? Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Why? Why doesn't it just rotate by itself? Seriously. I frickin' hate the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm is a complete waste. It sucks. And there's a reason why YouTube should be frickin' canceled. YouTube should be frickin' canceled by TikTok. Because TikTok is a superior live stream. Seriously. I try to put my frickin' phone horizontal so I can attract new subscribers, and it won't let me. It can only let me do vertical, which means the shorts feed, which means all you 25 people is gonna instantly leave and look for some girl with big breasts because I'm just some frickin' bald guy. You know, and it's annoying. Seriously, you guys just all left. You know, I could be throwing $1 million in the air saying I'm going to give every single one of you guys $1 million, and you guys would all instantly leave. Seriously, that's what the algorithm has come to. And I got a stupid, cheap little head mount thing that doesn't work good at all. You know, and all you guys are going to leave, and it's going to go down to 0. And then I'm going to talk to myself for 25 minutes and get thirsty. And then I'm going to say to myself, what the hell am I even doing here? Yeah. How does that look? How does that look, eh? Does it look terrible? You guys like that the camera's bouncing up and down extremely violently? You guys like how I look like a fat friggin' sack of potatoes even though I'm ripped and shredded to the frickin' bone? Gamer Cat, what's up? What's up to you 6 people that's gonna leave me right away for some girl with big breasts? Hey, because I'm too boring and I'm just some bald guy from New Brunswick, middle of nowhere. Nobody likes anyone. No, seriously, but I find in Canada in this day and age, what is it about Canada that everybody hates each other? Seriously. What is it about white people that just hate every single person in the town and every single person hates them? And what is it with people in a small town where like 60, 70-year-old women control everything and the men are just losers and bums who don't even think and they just get drunk and high all day? Seriously. Seriously, like, is that what Canada is coming to? and we all just watch the news, and we all have to believe what global news says, and we all have to believe what the National says with Rosemary Barton. I'm going to tell you guys, has there ever been a moment in all of planet Earth where Rosemary Barton actually did a good job? And who's that other girl? I think her name is Chantal, right? That French lady named Chantal. She sucks. She's the worst. Man, today I'm just in a bad mood. I'm in a bad mood, Gamer Cat. I'm in a friggin' really bad mood. Today I only had one extra large coffee and about 250 grams of bacon, and I weigh 180 pounds, and I'm ripped and I'm shredded and I'm big and I'm strong. But right now I'm frickin' suffering from a stupid frickin' coronavirus cold that got released in China. And since I just said that, all you guys are gonna leave and I'm gonna get banned, which is what we're living in planet Earth. It's okay for, hardened criminals to get away with murder, but if you say one teeny tiny thing that somebody doesn't like, they'll cancel you, hate you forever, take away your income, they'll take away your power, they'll take away your social status, they'll alienate you, they'll castrate you, they'll throw you to the dogs, they'll say you're worthless and hate your guts and suck out every last little bit of energy they can out of you. That's what it's like living here in Canada. Seriously, that's what it's like in Canada. And yeah, goodbye, yeah, good boy, Gamer Cat. What are you even doing here? Well, seriously, shouldn't you be gaming? Shouldn't you be gaming? What are you even doing, listening to what I have to say? I'm on here every single night at 7:30 p.m. and people stick around for about 25 seconds. And four of the people in the chat that even stick around for more than 25 seconds are the ones that hate me with a passion. And then what they do is they share to their friends and they say, "Oh, look at this loser. He's trying to do YouTube Live. Ha 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 ha." And then they go back to their jobs that their mom and dad gave them, or their cousin gave them, or their aunt gave them, and they make $35 an hour, $25 an hour, and they live in a brand new, fully renovated house with a brand new, fully renovated car, truck, SUV, and a cabin in the woods that they pay somebody $20 a week to cut the grass at. And they got about 400 grand in the bank, and they're only 25 years old. And they run down guys like me to the lowest who's actually trying to be friendly, trying to be positive, trying to be helpful. And, the way I see it, Canada is like the new Haiti. Canada's the new Haiti. I never seen Canada this bad before. Seriously, guys, just look at Canada on the map. Look at how big Canada is. Why are we like one of the poorest countries, but they say we're the best in the G7? We're not the best. We're not the best at anything. Well, we're the best at canceling people and being pro-trans and pro-gay. How about being procreation for just having kids and being normal? How about that? What is once normal is now the bad thing, and what was the strange thing has now become the norm here in Canada. And the worst thing is, if you even mention it on the news or something, people just lose it. People just lose it. And Pierre Poilievre is never going to win in a million years. Mark my words, Pierre Poilievre will never be the Prime Minister of Canada. And you know what? He knows it, and he's happy about it. He's actually happy about it. Because so long as he gets his paycheck, so long as he gets to walk around, and so long as he gets people to cheer for him and clap for him and listen to all the stupid things he has to say about how to make Canada better, but then not actually do anything, he'll retire with his millions of dollars, and you'll be left like a disgraced bum. Because that's what you are, is a bum, for believing in Pierre Poilievre. And if you think Canada's going to get any better with Carney, a central banker who stuck around most of his life in Europe, guys, this is the guy who's the successor of Trudeau. And Trudeau ran this place into the ground. It's time to move to the States, guys. It's time to move to the States. I know there's a lot of killings in the States, and I know there's a lot of far-left extremists in the States, and probably some far-right extremists too, but Canada is a big pile of crap. Worthless. I wouldn't be surprised if this is my mother fucking watching me right now on YouTube there because she has nothing better to do. You know, my mother's a maid and she can't even keep her own house clean. Yeah, how does that work? You know, it's like being a carpenter but never doing carpentry for yourself. So anyways, we're gonna let everybody trickle in here to my stupid little video and see if I can get some stupid likes and see if I can build a stupid little community. Ha 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 ha. So welcome to my stupid little chill stream. My name's David Duthie. I'm rich as fuck. I worked myself into the ground and now I don't work at all. Screw the economy and I'm not a guy who helps other people. You know, I'm not a guy who helps other people at all. You know, I mean, sometimes I actually do help people with certain little physical stuff or whatever, but nah. I mean, I used to work hard, but I come to realize that all the bosses around me in my life were not working hard at all. And I come to realize that a lot of the bosses were actually looking to bring down the community and to bring down the culture. So I decided to turn a new leaf and I decided to make some changes and I decided to let those people go in my life that were not serving the community. They were just mostly serving themselves. And in doing so, they were actually destroying everybody else and everything. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about what it's like to be surrounded by some of the nastiest people out there, you know, subscribe to my stupid little channel and hang out with me and listen to what I have to say because what's going on in Canada is unreal. We're not going to have a country in 3-4 years. We really need robots to take over, you guys. We really need robots to take over. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. We need robots to bring in the shopping carts at the shopping mall back and forth. There's no reason for people to do that. There's no reason for people to do that. People got other better things to do. Okay, more meaning in their life. You know, there's no sense in going to bed at 10 o'clock at night and waking up at 5 in the morning and moving shopping carts from 8 to 6 or whatever. There's no point at all. Same thing with cash registers and cashiers and all that. There's no need for that. Everything could be automated. You know, there's no need for people who change the coupon price of the stuff at the store or whatever there, the pricing at the store. There's no need for that. You know, robots can do all that, you guys. There's no need for people at all. You know, and there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. People should be working on themselves, developing themselves. People should be trying to get smarter. People should be trying to learn more. People should be trying to do more, achieve more. And for all the rareness of life there out there in the cosmos and the Milky Way and all that, to live a life where you just graduate high school and after that you just do your little job, whether it's being a little bartender or a secretary or something. You know, there's so much more to life than just being a secretary. Okay, you know, a lot of people don't understand that. You know, they have their whole self-reference point around their job. Like some of my family members, they take being a maid so seriously, but when it comes to actually serving, you know, your own family and yourself and all that, you're nowhere to be found. You know, so this is the bad side of people is that they can be good at something or they can do something, but uh, they wind up not doing what they should be doing or what they know they could be doing, and instead of developing themselves more, they're more and more regressive. And that's actually what's destroying the world, actually. Uh, there's a guy named Eric Weinstein that was talking about it a couple days ago on the Piers Morgan podcast. He was saying that what's taking place is the older generation is feeding off the younger generation as a protein source, basically, and alienating them, not paying them enough. The younger generation is not looking like it's going to, no matter how much the younger generation works, They're not going to have enough money to be able to afford a house. Right now the average house is like 300 grand where I'm from, and people only make 20 grand a year, if that. Uh, and in some of the cities like that, we're looking at 700 or 800 grand easy. And you make a little bit more money in the city, but you got to work your ass off, and it's a rat race too. You want to spend your whole life in a rat race in the city to pay a mortgage, and if you lose your job to AI, it's game over, guys. So why sign a mortgage for 25 years if AI could take your job? You know what I mean? You're better off to just take it easy, go slow, try and enjoy every single day. Make the days count or count the days, right? Hi, Timmy's Crayons. What's up, Tim? Welcome to the live stream. I thought I'd do it a little bit different today. How's the audio, guys? Right now I'm just sitting in bed chilling. I wanted to do it a different style. I'm trying to work on my lighting right now. Timmy's Crayons. What's up? What's up? What's up? Tell me about your day. Did you go for a walk or something? Tell me a little bit about yourself, you guys. We got 2 people in the chat. Let's hang out. I was just talking to 20-some people earlier. It's fun. What's up, 4 guys in the chat? Come on in. Make yourselves at home for the chill stream. Like I was saying, there's so much chaos in the world, but on the news today it was pretty quiet. And I want to create just a chill stream. I want to foster a nice little hangout environment. A place to relax, a place to wind down, put your pajamas on, be social. Hey, what's up, CAV? What's up, man? Did you know I was going to be on today? Since, like I say, I'm on every day at 7:30. Did you go for a walk to the beach earlier? Was that you? Or I think I was actually talking to another subscriber called Toilet Paper, actually. He says he likes walking along the beach there. What's up to the 6 people that just chimed in? I hope you got your pajamas in a pillowcase, because right now we're going to chill out and just have a nice little relaxing stream. Give me some emojis, guys. I see those hearts. So I was saying I've been doing vertical live streams for a while, and unfortunately people can only find me on shorts. And I tried to do my cell phone to be horizontal, and that way it would attract more people. But unfortunately, when I do a scheduled live stream, I cannot change it to horizontal, and it says that I must be vertical or something like that. Oh my God, it's so annoying. You think YouTube would do everything in their power to make the creators more happy and enjoy themselves more so they can produce more, but it seems as though the YouTube architecture not only makes it hard to post and stream and be consistent, but it also like not really much support at all. I don't find. I mean, they'll support you if you're a guy like Mr. Beast or whatever. But hey, like I was saying, I got 20 subscribers yesterday from one video, okay? And it didn't even get that much views. It got like 300, 400 views, and I got 20 subscribers. You think that they would be shipping out you think that I would be getting more views because I got 20 subscribers off of a short stream, right? But in fact, the opposite took place, and I posted again the next day, and I got like 5 views, and that's it. And I was doing some research, and it was like, yeah, if you get a lot of subscribers all at once, sometimes they'll let you go and give you a whole lot more people to view your stuff. But also sometimes what can happen is the opposite effect will take place, and they'll really crunch you down. And what they'll do is they will make it so that it's very, very hard, because the very few people that come into the channel, they want them to stay for a long time and all that kind of stuff, like a real dedicated thing or whatever. So that's going to make it harder to grow. Instead of opening the floodgates and seeing more and more people, they do the opposite and they show you less and less. How does that make sense? Seriously, how does that make sense? Cav, you got a few thousand views, but a small amount of subs. Yeah, right on. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the new creators, they're not making it easy for them. There's this young lady called Sophie Rain on TikTok, and she just does these little dances and she got just a crazy amount of views. And one time on my YouTube, I tried to do a little dance there just to try and be stupid about it. I mean, I don't know anything dancing at all, but it was a flop. But you know what? Guys want to see ladies dance, right? That's why there's a lot of strip clubs with women, and there's only a couple strip clubs for men, you know. And if there's a male strip club, you're either going if you're gay, or you're either going if you're a bunch of women, you know. So there's not really like for guys dancing on TikTok, you get 0 views, but for women dancing on TikTok, you get millions of views, right? What up, Tristan? Welcome to the chat, man. Hope you're doing well. Come on in, sit down, enjoy yourself, Tristan. Tell me a little bit about yourself, man. Where are you from? What do you like to do? Uh, are you from the United States? I'm from Canada, brother. I'm from eastern New Brunswick. I'm just recovering from a little bit of a cold flu. Uh, Low energy. Today I had like an extra large coffee, 250 grams of bacon, and that was it. And I'm just in a bad mood. I'm super pissed because, I just got no energy, and it sucks. And I was saying earlier on my stream today, I was saying that I would love to just go to the gym every single day and work out. But just the only problem is you need to work out. You need to work out all the time. I mean, you need to eat food all the time in order to go to the gym to repair the muscle, and then you got to sleep to recover to go to the gym again. Thank you, Thurston. Thank you, thank you. And you know what it is too? I don't know why the older generation says younger guys like me are lazy, and they would say like, oh, back in the day we worked real hard and all that, which is true, that they did work hard, but like look at today's look at how hard people work today and what they get out of it. And look at the gym culture there is now, and the health culture and the wellness culture, and people are doing athleticism now more than ever. So I just don't like it that the older generation calls us lazy. You know what I mean? Get well soon. Thanks, Cav. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be fine there. It's just one of those situations where you got to drink like 8 liters of water, and you need like 400 grams of protein, and you need like 1,000 grams of carbs, and then you need to sleep for like 2, 3 days, and then you'll be fine or whatever. But yeah, it's just annoying, yeah, because I always like to go to the gym and I like to hit a PR, like a personal record. Heavy weights, a lot of reps, low rest period in between. It always feels good to do a personal record, right? Because it feels like you're getting ahead and ahead and ahead, and then you get ahead for probably like 2 months or something, let's say, and then you catch a cold, and you make no progress for like 3 weeks. You catch a cold, you're sick for 3 days, and then you make no progress for like 2.2 weeks or something. And in today's competitive weightlifting environment, there, like, you can't afford to like get a cold there because other people are not catching a cold, and then they start building more muscle than you. And then next thing I'm 32 years old, and there's guys walking around 21, 22, 23 years old, and they're all on steroids, and they're all huge and ripped and everything else, and lifting just as much weight as me, you know. But they just started, and I've been at it now for like 7, 8 years, man. Godfrey, what's up, man? Welcome to the chat. We're just doing a little chill stream here. Can you hear me good with my microphone, man? So, yeah, I mean, the news was quiet today. The news was super quiet. That's why I like to foster a little community evening stream for people to wind down, put on your pajamas, get your pillow. Did you guys see my thumbnail? I'm starting to put a lot of work into my thumbnails, you guys. Like a lot of work of just really making it match. Today I was making it match. Like my stream, which is a chill stream, was me on the couch sitting with all you guys on the couch. Cav, what's up? Well, at least you don't need steroids. Way more natural and way more safe. Yeah, for sure. More safe for sure, because I don't know anything about needles and how to inject stuff. A lot of guys take the testosterone pills, but it digests. It's more hard on your liver when you take testosterone pills, I guess, or whatever. But these guys don't care. They just want to look good and they just want to get the ladies and the money and all that there. But that's the Gen Z we're talking about, like that's what I say. I don't understand how baby boomers say that my generation is lazy, but then they're nice to the Gen Zers. It's like, oh, well, don't be hard on them because they're young. It's like, well, I'm young, you know, but from 25 to 32, it went by fast. I got to say, even man, I give it like 110% effort from 25 to 32. And I'm going to be looking so forward to when, I won't say like 10 years from now, because it'll be a little bit scary probably, but just like 1 or 2 years, actually probably maybe 3 years from now. I want to see what the world is like 3 years from now. I really want to see what it's like when there is like 2 billion robots. 2 billion robots on planet Earth walking around doing stuff. I really want to know what that's like, and I really want to see it. I'm looking forward to it because I know a lot of people are scared, and they always say, "Oh, it's the end times," and that. I don't believe that. Seriously, I mean, people in coding and all that. Bill Gates knew what he was doing when he came up with the computer years ago, and he knew what was going to happen, exactly what was going to happen when every single household had a computer like he wanted. He knew it was only a matter of time when he was a young man. When Bill Gates was a young man, say 25 years old, he went on a late night show. I think it was Conan, or maybe it was the man before that. There was a guy with orange hair who was a late night show host, and the late night show host, David Letterman. Yeah, David Letterman, I think. And David Letterman was like, "Yeah, Bill, listen, with the uprise of computers, eh? Can you foresee maybe like data and algorithms getting more and more just so advanced that maybe we don't know what we're doing and now we lose control or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm paraphrasing here. He was like, oh, yeah, I can see, like, I want a computer in every home and everybody's going to be doing that kind of thing, right? But it'll be interesting to see what it's like in the future," is pretty much what he was saying. So he knew, Bill Gates, and I don't want to get sued by him, or I don't want people knocking on my door saying that what I'm saying here. But put it this way: whenever they were inventing that stuff, they knew exactly that they were going to use all the data of everybody using them, and they were going to extrapolate all this kind of stuff, and they were eventually going to integrate it into robots and automating the robots to do the things because it takes energy for people to do a bunch of stuff, and they want robots to do it for free. Like right now, I'm talking to you from a cell phone, which is technology. It's an extension of myself if I use it every day, and I project onto it. And I also project on the weights when I weight lift, and I get bigger toned muscles. It's the same thing with a cell phone. And I love technology so much. Technology saved us. Technology really saved humanity compared to wild animals. You know, how do you plan your live streams? Do you have a script or anything? Uh, well, Cav, let me tell you, I sometimes, like, for 1 or 2 hours before my live stream, I would sometimes like search on my phone what's today's trending news, or I would search on YouTube like what happened today, like if there was any big thing, like the Charlie Kirk assassination type thing. I did a live stream right away that day, just because I just wanted to talk and I wanted to be seen. I'm tired of watching the news and just like being a viewer. Doesn't it bother you guys that you just watch the news, but you can't comment, you can't talk to the news reporter, you can't, participate? So me, I wanted to participate. So I had an urge to, I guess, just go live and start talking, and it was hard at first. It was trying to like build a snowman or something like that. Like you start off with a snowball and everybody leaves and you're like by yourself and you're like, because it does kind of suck. It is kind of boring. So it helps you guys if you guys like, comment, be social. It sucks. It sucks to see you guys go, but if we stick around to actually have a conversation with you guys because today is an evening stream and I just want to sit down, talk, chill out. So to answer your question, Cav, it's do I plan it? Yes, a little bit, but I do not plan it as much as like Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or some of these other big guys. I just go slow every single day, and every single day you learn a little bit more, right? Nigger, what up, Nigger? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? YK Lucas, Fortnite, Minecraft, and more. Holy crap! What's up? That's one heck of a name. You don't play those games, do you? Yep. So what's up to the other four viewers in here? And I'm still learning the YouTube thing or whatever there, pushing buttons, trying to learn, but it's a slow process. I wish it was more streamlined, but I just don't like the interface, and that's another thing too they talked about in the past is that Steve Jobs was such a good CEO because he wanted the interface of Apple to be so enjoyable that people enjoyed it and they used his stuff all the time. And that's really what helped humanity was that people were using his stuff, yes, buying his stuff, yes, all the capitalism stuff, yes, but they were like getting a good pleasure from it. Do you remember the Apple iPod? I think it's called. Yeah, the iPod. And Steve Jobs was saying everyone will buy a song for $1 each, and people actually went with it, and people did, for a while. Like that was crazy, eh? Who would pay $1 for a song now? Now that there's just certain stuff out there where you can get like a 7-month subscription, right? And with YouTube and everything else, so he was ahead of his time, but he was such a smart guy. For he had the realization that he wanted to create something that people would like and relax and use, and that's what made his product competitive compared to Microsoft. And it was a really big surprise when he left and when they were about to go bankrupt and then Microsoft bailed them out by buying a certain percentage of the company because Bill Gates knew that competition creates innovation. So even if he owned a little bit of his competitor, if they were making lots of money, he would still make a lot of money, and he still wanted to advance technology. There's a lot of people out there that talk about wanting to slow down technology, but everybody else wants it to speed up. You know, that's the God honest truth, man. Cav, what's up? That's very interesting. I think you're great at talking, not pausing between sentences. My slow brain could never do that. Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest with you. Also, I committed like a good 7 years of studying every single day about like psychology, technology, just some of the stuff that I was interested in, right? But also because I wanted to figure out like what was I missing, what could I do more, like how can I work on my weak spots. But I was also trying to understand where we were in the world and what's going on in the world because certain stuff was just not making sense, especially in the year 2019. And at the time, when you're 25 years old, that's when you start to develop more critical thinking and things like that, and more independence, at least with me anyway. Maybe some people, who are smarter than me at 18, 19, 20, things like that. But, I didn't really, like, what I'm trying to say is whenever I was 20, 21, 22, 23, I used to do carpentry and all that kind of stuff. And I used to, do oil changes and work on four-wheelers and all that kind of stuff. And I was a hard worker. I was a good worker and all that. But when I turned 25, I realized kind of like the state of the world in Canada and all that. So I chose not to participate in the Canada economy, basically, because I didn't have friends and family to help me out and support me with building my own house, and I didn't have anyone to support me in my business endeavors. Sometimes life is very competitive, and people, they really want to bring you down. They want to see you lose. So even though you're a Canadian and maybe you want to start a company to compete with Russia, to compete with China, to compete with Europe, which is good at the international stage or whatever, but as an individual, you would think, okay, well, maybe my friends and family will, help me to do that, right? But man, you were dead wrong. And maybe it even turns out the people in Russia and China, they're actually rooting for you and hoping that you do good in life. That's a mind twist. That some of the closest people in your life of your own friends and family, like, are actually the ones that don't like you. They hate you actually, and they don't want to get you. They don't want to see you make money. They don't want to see you be successful. They don't want to see you independent. They don't want to see you grow. That's for sure. And they want to keep you like in a childlike state or whatever, like forever until they die of you serving them, basically. So that's like the sick world of Canada that we live in right now. And hopefully not every Canada family is like that. But for the families that are not like that, to the older generation that is passing the torch to the younger generation, and to the older generation who is supporting the younger generations to, have a house, have a kid, have a little business, have income coming in, that will be the generation that inherits the future of the world. And for the parents out there, and for the older generation that's looking to socially alienate their kids, maybe castrate their kids socially, maybe hurt them emotionally, scarring, trauma, and all that stuff, and trying to make it so that ultimately, I guess, they just reject the younger generation. The younger generation will have no choice either but to be creative and to figure a way out of it, or die, basically, and just go extinct forever. So, there's no going back in life. There's only going forward. So if I could leave a word of advice for tonight's live stream, don't let anybody out there rob you, like, of your youth or of your time or of your value simply to prop themselves up. Because that's the battle that's going on in Canada right now. Canada is really, really not doing good, you guys. Canada is really not doing good. You know, but the way to save that is that a individual has to substantiate themselves amongst the masses and be that sort of guiding light, I guess, for the rest of us. Or if not, then, and if there is not that person, then other people or other countries, other places will, and you will get left behind. Simple as that. Don't believe me? Come back to this live stream in 10, 20 years. How's my audio? Oh, I want to put my arms behind my head and chill. But yeah, that was kind of like an overwhelming maybe message for the chill stream for you guys. But I always try and leave something so if somebody ever watches my videos, they can look back and they can say, okay, well, this guy knows a little bit what he's talking about. But still, I want to foster a chill environment where people lay down, relax, and take a breather. Because like I say, a lot of people are scrolling through their phones right now on the live stream, and they just pass me by because, like I say, they're looking for sexy, attractive women and all that kind of stuff. And when you see a bald guy in a sweater, leaning up against a pillow, it kind of looks boring. But I want to create like an evening stream where basically North America can, or like in this continent, really, this side of the world, I won't say like so much everywhere else, but like just to chill out, put their arms back like I am talk. I like it when you talk, Cav. I like it when you talk, Nick Gurr. I like it when you talk, Lucas, because you guys tell me a bit about your day. You guys tell me about what you guys like to do. I like learning about what new people have to say, where you're from, what do you like to do, what did you do today. Today was a nice, sunny day here in eastern New Brunswick. And I like to just pay attention to other people. I try not to be too self-conceited, where I just kind of do my own thing and that's it. Because some people are really self-conceited. I see a lot of people throwing stuff on the ground. They're littering, every day. littering, and they don't care. They're just on this earth along for the ride, and they don't care to litter. But they do not want to pick up litter, but they want to throw the litter down. But I want to foster a group of the people who pick up the litter. So for every 10 people that throw the litter, there's only one who picks it up, right? Maybe 100 to 1 at this point. So I think that's what I'd like to do is foster like more positivity. But yeah, Cav, it is not easy talking. And how do I come up with my live streams and all that kind of stuff? Do I do it a cappella or do I plan it or whatever? It's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. Life is a bit of both. When you went to school, people would say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And what changes or whatever. Me personally, I just wanted to be myself. That's what I told some of the teachers. And when I told them that, they would say, "Oh no, no, you gotta like what job? What do you want to do for the rest of your life?" I was more or less like, well, whatever I feel like doing. Whatever I want to do is whatever I want to do. But like, I didn't. If I knew that college and university and all that stuff and what it was like on the news there with Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, and all that, if I knew what it was gonna be like if I had the foresight to know what was gonna take place, I just would have never worked ever. I would have just went straight on welfare, and I would have just put even more of my apples into just learning more on my own. 'Cause you learn way more in life on your own than you ever will from you know, with somebody else just telling you what to do. But it's important to pay attention to people that's worth paying attention to too. So there's always a little bit of give, but all the stupidest people are teachers, you know, because a lot of teachers don't even want to admit that they don't know something, or a lot of teachers don't even want to admit of being a student in the profession that they teach themselves. They can only be seen as the master or whatever, even in their own worldview, in their own mind's eye or whatever. So if you can't even admit that as a teacher, what kind of teacher are you? You're the worst teacher ever. You should never be in a classroom if you can't admit that you don't even desire to learn anymore. If you act like you know everything, your life is complete and it's time for you to pass away because you know everything. You learned everything there is to know in the whole fucking world. And that bothers me too. It's just people who act like they know everything. When I look back on my life of all the bosses and foremen and doctors and lawyers and businessmen and everything, they all were actually really dumb. They were all actually really dumb, but everybody believed that they were smart. And I would ask them sometimes philosophical questions, and they wouldn't have no idea what I was talking about. None. They don't even know what Plato's cave is. So life as an individual is something you just got to take on yourself and get out there. And a lot of people regard it as swimming in the deep end or whatever there, but it doesn't have to be like that either. It can still be like that. You should go slow. Don't learn too fast. Don't upset yourself too much training too hard or something like that. Working out too hard. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the ride. At least try to, anyways. Jeez, don't let anyone try and rob you of trying to enjoy the ride, man. It's like I say, I know a lot of 60, 70-year-old women and men who are trying to make it so that you do not enjoy the ride. So you gotta be tough. You gotta be tough for sure in an intelligence way. So like if AI is able to bring up your IQ by even 50, 60 points, and if you're just a guy at 80 or 90, or 50 or 60, like a dummy, and you get an extra 50 there, well, then you'd just be normal. But if you were normal and you got an extra 50, then you'd be, just below a genius, I would say. There's not too many true geniuses out there. If there is, they usually only focus on specializing on one thing. I would say to try and focus specializing on a lot of things, which spreads you a little thin, but I would rather be well rounded in everything and just a little bit good at everything than only be good at one thing and suck at everything else in life and, you know, crash through and scrape and bump into every little problem in life, only being a good plumber, but everything else in your life sucks. So you gotta really try and be fluid like that. Polarities can be tough or whatever. Fluid, like you have to be fluid, but you also have to be solid. So that's a mind fuck right there. You have to be solid in life, that you got to be tough, but you got to be fluid and dynamic enough to get around and know what you're doing. Because so many people don't know what they're doing out there, but they act like they know what they're doing, and 5 years later, they ruin the company, they ruined their heritage and everything because they could not admit that they did not know what they were doing. Because they did not want you to believe that, because it would threaten their income and their identity and all that kind of stuff. So rather than do the hard work of trying to develop, trying to learn, trying to be better and all that, they were just sitting there taking an easy ride, making $100,000 a year, shrugging their shoulders, getting life handed them for free on a silver platter, and they screwed it over for the rest of us. But let me tell you something, that's going to end. Mark my words, that crap is going to end in about 3 years from now when AI takes over all this other stuff. There won't be no hiding from it. There won't be no hiding from your own hubris, because it'll tell you. And probably it's going to tell you how to serve it too better, and what to do to make it better for everyone. Which I hope it does. Genuinely, I hope it does, and I hope it does it in kind of like a caring way. I hope it does it in a way that it doesn't like force you to shovel coal all day, for example, but makes it so that you know what you have to do. You know in your heart of hearts in life what it is that you should be doing and what it is that you got to do. And if you ain't doing it, you're going to suffer for it, as you should, which is normal. You're only going to suffer more and more until you do what you know what you should be doing. It's only going to get worse and worse until it's almost unbearable. And then even then, it just means that you're just having a crappy life for a year or two until you start doing the changes that you know should be done. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys like and subscribe. I say it every day. I say it all the time, and only a couple people do it until all of a sudden I get 50 subscribers, which is cool. But then the algorithm screws me over again, which is a pain in the butt. But like I say, guys, just subscribe if you haven't already. Comment. Just say, hey, enter. What's up? Enter. My name is Jeff. Enter. And then give me some stupid little hearts. Give me some stupid little balloons. And all this other crap. And before you know it, we'll have 10, 15 people who all know each other in here. And we're all good buddies and pals and stuff. We all talk about just how to make things better, right? And what we can do, not what we can't, right? Life is about what we can do, not what we can't do. Forget what you can't do. Look at what you can do. So we'll see you guys in the next video, alright? We'll catch you guys later, okay? See you later, Cav. Peace, you guys. Let me get out of here. I'm going to the gym. Wish me luck.